I think the male character issue in Wuthering Waves is just disappointing. Let's talk about it. My name is Juice, and let's get into it. Okay, so, to be completely honest with you, I've given up hope that Kuro is ever going to start consistently releasing male 5 stars. I don't think it's happening. Brant was recent, but he feels more like a one-off rather than the start of anything new. So, I did cover this a while back, I did talk about it, and I was pretty hopeful at the time. Brant was being very, very well received at the time. It felt like a lot of people were going to go and pull for him, and just generally everyone seemed to love the guy. So, I was hopeful. I was definitely hopeful, but I've just kind of given up hope. I don't think it's gonna happen, which I think is a shame. And to me, I just think it's disappointing. You could make the argument, you know, why don't you go and play a game that's centered around that then? Well, simple, because I like Wuthering Waves. I like Wuthering Waves specifically, I enjoy the gameplay of it, and so naturally, I want to play it. And I think it's fair and realistic to have felt like they were going to make more male characters initially. You know, their first banner was Jian, they had Shangli Yao, and then they recently had Brant. So they do sprinkle them in sometimes, and that's the thing. Kuro hasn't entirely given up on them, which is why it's so frustrating that we just almost never get them, maybe once in a blue moon. I just find the extreme reluctance to add male characters a little bit strange. I mean, okay, it's not that strange. Ultimately, they probably just don't make as much money. It's probably just not worth it sales-wise, and it's as simple as that. I don't have the numbers or the data. I wouldn't be able to say, but I don't know. I feel like if there was a really cool dude, they would be relatively popular. I mean, case in point, Brant. People loved that guy. A lot of people did get him even in spite of his ER issues. And I also just think it's a shame because Wuthering Waves makes such cool male characters, bro. I think Jian is awesome. He has such a good character design. And shoot, I think Kuro looks really cool too. He's never shown up in the story, but hey, he's still cool to look at. So it's wasted potential as well. And another thing is I feel like it could also just add some good variety. I have absolutely no problem with fan service whatsoever. I really don't have an issue with it. You know, it comes with a territory, it's a gacha game, that's completely fine. But I think that if every main quest is going to have the main woman of the quest fall in love with the main character, having some male characters in there can just help sort of balance things out a bit, you know, add some variety. It'd be something different, and it would make it more interesting the next time it happens, because there would have been a break in between, or just something different in between. I do understand that the main aim of most gacha games is to sell you cool waifus and whatnot. That's cool, and hey, shoot, my favorite Wuthering Waves characters are females, okay? I love Carlotta, I love Changli, I think those two are awesome. I even recently pulled for Cantarella just because I thought she looked cool. But even with that aim in mind, I don't think people would be so vehemently opposed to having a cool main dude be the main character of a quest for a patch. I mean, I could be wrong on that, correct me if I'm wrong on that, but I do think that people wouldn't mind if a main quest centered around the dude for once. I mean, shoot, whenever the game was first coming out, Kuro was a very desired unit, and that was for good reason, because he looks awesome, dude. And even now, there are still people that really want him to get buffed because he's so cool. Even though Shangli Yao already power crept him, people are still wanting him to, you know, get a little better, because his animations are sick and whatnot. And I've always just found the strong opposition against male characters from some people to just be a little bit strange, because most video games will have a male main character. Obviously, you have to consider intent here, and I understand that gacha games have a different intent from most regular video games, but I still just find it a little odd when people really don't want male characters, like, at all, because, you know, it's pretty standard for dudes to be in most video games. And the reason why this frustrates me is because I love Wuthering Waves so much, dude. I recently 100% did the 2 new areas that they added in 2.2. Goodness me, such a gorgeous place. Oh, I'm just smiling right now just talking about it. Oh, that was such a good place. Gorgeous visuals. I loved the sky, the shooting stars. It was all absolutely just gorgeous, an ethereal sight to see. And Avenolium, don't even get me started on the peak that is Avenolium. What a place. What a place. And I've just become so invested in everything else to do with Wuthering Waves, which is why I really care about this. And I know that for some people, this just doesn't matter at all. And even for people who do like male characters, this just really is a non-issue for them, and it doesn't really affect their enjoyment whatsoever. And you know what? Fair enough. That's completely fine if you don't care. 100% fine if you don't care. But just for me, I also have a different perspective on this, I suppose, because I am a woman, I like men. Wowza. So it would be nice if they just added a little bit more, and I'm not even asking for a whole lot. I know that the ratio is always going to be skewed in favor of females, and that's really not a problem for me. I'm ultimately still going to play the game either way. This is sort of just me accepting that this is pretty much just going to be a waifu game, and if there's going to be a male character, it's going to be once in a blue moon, which, for me, that really sucks. But I just love the game so much, and I love experiencing it so much that this isn't a big enough deal to make me quit the game or anything like that. It's not pushing me to any extremes, but it does make me disappointed. It does, unfortunately, disappoint me. And I understand that a survey was sent out to people so that people could directly say what they want to see in the game, what type of characters they want to see in the game. However, the thing is, I feel like if you add the male character in first, that's going to draw in new players that are into that type of character, because when you send out surveys, that only really hits the people that already play the game actively, and the people that are playing actively already like what's there. Obviously, that doesn't mean that they're just not going to ask for different stuff just because they like what's currently going on. That doesn't mean that they're not going to say, hey, can we try this out maybe? But it does mean that possibly the pool of people that would like a specific demographic of character would increase if they found out about the game and entered it through some cool dudes being added. And just a genuine question, because I'm curious, if you're somebody that doesn't typically pull for male characters, if they made one that was really cool in your opinion, and you thought that they were super sick, would you still skip them? I'm just very curious. Comment down below, and if you would, then tell me why. And listen, if you're just a waifu player that wants waifus, that's completely fine, to be honest. I'm just expressing my disappointment. I just love this game a lot, and I really care about it in specific, which is why I wish that it would expand to more male characters, but I just doubt it. I just don't think it's coming. I don't think it's coming anymore. And yeah, I'm just accepting it now. I've just accepted it. I will be completely honest with you. I would not be surprised if, for the rest of 2.x, we did not see a single new 5-star male. I would not be surprised at all, because I honestly think that that is the reality of it. Okay, let's think about it like this. I don't know how many patches Rinasita is going to have. 1.0 only had 4 patches before we moved on to 2.0, but that's just because Kuro wanted to get over 1.0 as quickly as possible, just so that we could get to Rinasita and move right along. So I assume that Rinasita is probably going to be longer, but I don't know how much longer. What I'm personally familiar with is going up to X.8, and then we move on to the next new region, so I'm going to work under that assumption. So, okay, 2.0 we got Carlotta, Roshia, 2.1 we got Phoebe, and then Brant, there's one male. 2.2, we got Cantarella. 2.3, we're getting Zani, and then Shikona. Then 2.4, 2.5, 2.6, 2.7, 2.8. So that's 5 more patches after 2.3 with characters that we just don't know yet. We don't know who's coming up after Zani and Shikona yet. Although 2.2 only had Cantarella, it seems typical for Kuro games to put in 2 new characters per patch. So I assume that we'll be seeing a range of about 7 to 10 new characters. I'm gonna lowball it and assume 7, and then combine that with the 7 Rinasita characters that we've already got released. If all of them are women, that means that we would have had 1 male character for the entire Rinasita patch cycle. So, my personal proposition, I think 4 to 5 of those should be male characters, and I don't think that's asking for too much. I think that 4 to 5 is completely reasonable. I really don't think that's asking for too much. That would still be an overwhelming majority of 9 to 10 female characters, and it would provide the much needed variety in terms of the cast. And if even that is considered too much, then I think it would be fair to have at least 3 of them be male characters. When you look at it in that sort of wider scale, I think that's reasonable. Now, granted, I assumed going up to X.8, I don't know if that's standard for Kuro games or not. It might not be, so you could even chop off like 2 to 3 characters if they only go up to 0.6 or 0.7. So with that in mind, let's say that all of the Rinasita cast totals up to 12 characters. In that case, I once again think it will be reasonable to say that at least 3 of them, or at least 2 of them should be guys, Brant being one of them. But then again, it's not really about what's reasonable, it's just not happening. I just don't think it's happening. Now, the main reason as to why this doom and gloom came about is because, well, while I was streaming yesterday, me and my chat were having a conversation about this. We happened to land upon the topic of male characters in gacha games. Now, I will be ecstatic if Kuro ever changes their mind and they do decide to add a couple more dudes. And listen, if I'm being honest, I would love if they did some Cantarella tier fan service for a male character, but I know that's just not happening. There is no point in asking for that. If they only add one male per year, there is no point in asking for that type of thing. But Kuro, if by any stretch of the imagination you ever hear my cries, you ever add another cool looking male character, my wallet is wide open and I would throw money at them. The things I would do to have Lighter or Mighty in Wuthering Waves, dude. The things that I would do to have those characters in WuWa. But what do you think about all of this? Do you think that there is in fact hope for male characters in the future? Or do you agree with me that it's just kinda cooked and it's just never happening? Let me know down below, I'd love to hear your thoughts. As always, I have a ZZZ second channel. Head on over and subscribe if you're interested in some fun, silly ZZZ content. I'd also like to mention that I stream on Twitch. I stream once a week every week on Saturdays, starting from 3 PM UK time. Come along so that we can play Wuthering Waves, ZZZ, and do some other fun stuff together. Hopefully this video was able to tell you why I'm personally disappointed by the male character situation in Wuthering Waves. This has been Juice, signing out. And ironically enough, Kuro did actually get it right the first time, because personally, Gion is a 10 out of 10 in my opinion. I will not be taking arguments on that.